a camel. That was interesting.
That's all you can touch. Oh my gosh.
The Passover. Jesus knew that he soon would be leading his disciples. He knew he was going to leave this world and that he was on his way to heaven to be with God. He got up and put on his apron. During the time when Jesus lived, people wore sandals and walked on dusty roads. Their feet were dirty. When they came to a house, a servant or hired help washed the people's feet. This night, Jesus is washing the disciples' feet to teach them the importance of serving others. Jesus wants each of us to be a little Christ to our family and friends, and even to those we may not like a whole lot. Jesus wants us to love one another. As Jesus and the disciples were sitting around the table, Jesus said, "One of you is going to hand me over to the men who want to kill me." They were shocked, and one by one they asked, "Is it I, Lord?" Jesus answered, "It is the one I give this piece of bread to." Jesus hands the bread to Judas and says, "Do what you must." Then Jesus did something else. He gave a new meaning to the bread and wine. He picked up the bread and blessed it. He gave the bread to his disciples. And then he took the cup of wine and blessed it. Then he gave it to his disciples to drink. Wait! Isn't that Judas? What's happening? Judas is meeting with the chief priests and is being paid 30 pieces of silver for betraying Jesus. Jesus went to his favorite garden to pray. His disciples went with him. Jesus was lonely. He was sad. He was frightened of what God was asking him to do. He begged his friends to keep him company, but they all fell asleep. He rises and checks his disciples. Discovering they are asleep, he returns to a kneeling position. His friend, Judas, who had betrayed him, showed the chief priests where to find Jesus. Judas came up to Jesus and kissed him. The soldiers and guardsmen arrested him. Gang hustled Jesus to the high priest's house. The high priests were enemies of God. They were scared that Jesus would take away their power. They even had people tell lies about Jesus. They did not believe that Jesus was the Son of God. When the high priests and the religious leaders accused Jesus of being King of the Jews, he said nothing. He was silent. Not a word came from his mouth. All the powerful religious leaders agreed that Jesus should be killed. One of his favorite disciples crept into the high priest's house to watch what was happening. A doorkeeper recognized him and asked Peter if he was a friend of Jesus. Peter panicked. he denied knowing Jesus. He even said he had never heard of him. Peter denied knowing Jesus 2 more times. Then the cock crowed. Jesus looked at Peter as he was being led away to Pilate. Peter wept bitterly. Then Jesus was taken before Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. Only the Roman government could order someone to be killed. Pilate questioned Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said, "If you say so." During the time of Passover, it was a custom to set a prisoner free. And the crowd that had gathered was given a choice of who they wanted Pilate to set free, Barabbas or Jesus. The crowd called for Barabbas! Pilate didn't think the trial for Jesus had been fair, but the crowd was determined to have Barabbas pardoned. Again, the crowd shouted, "Barabbas! Pilate asked, "Then what do I do with Jesus?" The crowd yelled, "Crucify him! Nail him to the cross!" Pilate is not pleased with the decision to crucify Jesus. He washes his hands. Nicole, would you please blow out the 3rd candle? They put a crown on his head. They pretended to bow down before him. They whipped him. Him and spat upon him. They put a purple robe on his shoulders. carry the cross. Watching. They stayed with him, not caring if it got them into trouble. Jesus prayed, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." Many who were there started laughing at Jesus. They made faces. They teased him because he didn't look like the Messiah. The soldiers came up and poked fun at him, making a game of it. They taunted him, saying, "So you're the king of the Jews? Save yourself." Printed over his head was a sign, "This is the King of the Jews." Carlos, would you please go and blow out the 5th candle? Even though it was the middle of the day, the sky grew dark. The darkness lasted 3 hours. It was a total blackout. Jesus called out loudly, "My God, my God, why have you forsaken me?" He bowed his head and died. As the sun was setting, Jesus' friends took his body, wrapped him in a linen cloth, and placed him in a tomb. The tomb had been cut from a hillside. Once they placed Jesus in the tomb, they rolled a big stone over the entrance. Edgar, would you please go and blow out the 6th candle? We will now be doing the procession of the cross. Please allow the kids to process and enter the tomb for a time. When they return to the sanctuary, you may go and enter the tomb for a quiet moment.
Hatred and violence and jealousy. He hadn't hurt anyone. He didn't deserve to be killed, but he was put to death on a cross anyway. Some of his friends took his body from the cross. They anointed his body with spices. Then they wrapped him in linen cloths and placed him in a dark, cold tomb. His mother and his friends were very sad. Jesus lay there for 3 days. When the women returned to visit the tomb, they found the stone rolled away and the tomb empty. When you leave the tomb, slowly, please take a nail out of the basket. Now wait, I said when you leave. One at a time. Do not all rush up there. And you go out that door over there. You please go down the hallway. Somebody will instruct you how to go back up into the sanctuary. All right, Melanie? Take your time. Take your time.